What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Relaxing Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Digital Relaxation, and we are back again with another episode. I'm going to do this one differently. I'm kind of going to do this one backwards because of the topic I'm going to be talking about, and I find it's the best way I can structure this. So, as always, anyone who's listening to this podcast, be sure to share it. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, rate it 5 stars so it can grow and all of that good stuff. So usually I would start off with the what I've been up to and whatnot, but that's actually going to be my later topic. I'm going to actually do a part 2 or finishing up of my previous episode. So talking about being in the right era and right timeline and stuff. Well, not timeline. Oh, already getting ahead of myself. But yeah, like being in, like, people who feel like they were born in the right or wrong era and whatnot, and where they truly belong and things. So going into that, I want to talk about the perspective of being born in the right era and whatnot. As a whole, I feel like it is interesting to be a part of like this part of time and what's been going on in life. Like I said, from like I literally and like in a sense seen like how the like online world changed. Like sure, computers and technology and stuff been around since probably before my time, but like to get to the point where we are now, like I seen it like birth, like using dial-up and AOL instant messenger and all of that to talk to people in chats and stuff, and like seeing how it went from that, seeing the birth of YouTube, like when that was just the Wild West, like people were just posting not anything, but like a lot of stuff was just being posted on there, and now it's just like it's more of a business now, so you know we gotta monitor what's going on. And yeah, like seeing the trends, the online trends, seeing the content creators that came and went, or the ones that paved the way for the ones that's popular now. It's just a lot of stuff. Then you could go into the downside of things, like, you know, I think about the idea of like the people who had to deal with living in the times during like segregation and whatnot, like when it was legit a law for us to be separated by our race and skin color and whatnot, like, and then here we are now. It's like it almost feel like it haven't changed. And some people also could feel like that's where this whole vaccine thing is going into, where it just sounds like segregation part 2, where you want to separate the non-vax people with the vax people, and like it just sounds rough. So I don't know, history does tend to repeat itself. Doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate, but the methods and the message still seems to be the same. But yeah, like, yeah, granted, we miss things. Well, I miss things such as like the moon landing and whatnot, but personally, honestly, I don't think I would have cared. I don't care now. Like all the times I always see like the NASA live streams pop up on YouTube about, oh, they just going into space and just be chilling, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I always want to go somewhere. But yeah, for me personally, like, I want to talk about, this is going to tie into my later topic, but I also want to talk about, I guess, fate and timing as well, dealing with these things. Like the things that I have learned and been exposed to, and the people I've met, and when I met them, it's like, you know, because everything was in this timeline, in this era, like it was meant to be. Like I always tell this to someone that's real important to me, like my closest friend, that how me and her met, it was like one of the most convenient, perfectly timed thing, like from where I was in my life to where she was in her life, and how she helped motivate me and inspire me to like be better in myself and in my life. And then when it came to vice versa, I was there for her and whatnot. It was just like, it's one of those things where it's like, because the trippy thing about it is that we met through a mutual friend, but the thing is that me and the mutual friend are like brothers, and we're like always together. And to know that like they've been cool this whole time, but yet we never crossed paths, and then just randomly it was time for us to cross paths. Like, and I always wondered, like, I don't think we would have gotten along had we met earlier because of where I was in my life. Like, I was not a very positive person. I was just very down. Not, I don't know. I was just out of it at the time period. So if I would have met them early, I think it would have been bad. And from where I was when we did meet to like now, she's like legit my closest friend. Probably when it comes to like legit friendships, like my only friend in the sense. Like, I don't really like to hold these friendships and titles to much people like that. So yeah. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things like, had I been born in the wrong timeline, like would I have met someone like that person? Would I met the other people that's in my life? Would I have gone through similar things and learned the same things? It's different. But also it could have been different. Like maybe I could have been better in a certain timeline, or I could have been worse, who knows? So yeah, that's why I say just cherish the time we are in now. Take what you learn, what you see, what you experience, and go with it. Just make yourself better. But yeah, so that's gonna close up that topic. So now we can go into, I guess, what's been going on with me. Well, starting off with I'm gonna talk about some gaming stuff. I recently seen that Netflix will be adding video games to their service, and apparently they won't be charging extra for it. So you looks like you're gonna be getting a bonus for watching movies. Now you guys can game and chill on the same platform, which yeah, it definitely seemed like that's where gaming is definitely going now. So like everything is becoming a streaming service. I mean, I like it, I don't like it. I mean, personally, I'm a person who enjoys getting physical copies of things. Like I still own a lot of my old consoles and games and whatnot. I just like having the collection, and just, you know, it's like having accessories or home decorations, like having that wall of games or movies that people be having, like those cabinets of DVDs behind them and whatnot. But seeing that they legit making consoles without disc trays built into them. Even my PC does not have a disc tray, and so I don't even think like PC games having discs is even common anymore. Like I don't even know when the last time I seen a PC game disc. So that sucks. But yeah, the only issue with that is like Netflix seems like a safe bet because you get movies and games, so you get, I guess, the best of both worlds in terms of entertainment. But like other stuff is like Xbox got their Game Pass, PlayStation probably has something, and all the other like people that got their streaming service, and it's like that just adds up to like more stuff, more bills. It's the same thing where I don't like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, like, oh, only certain shows are gonna be here, so you gotta subscribe to this one specifically to watch this show. And that also kind of like influence people to get them alleged links to see them elsewhere, because it's like you want us to pay for like 5 different services just to watch one thing, and it's like craziness. But yeah, so that's that. As of me recording this episode, the EA Play stream has happened. EA revealed some game. Well, they didn't really reveal. I think only 3 games were like new, and others was like games we already knew what was coming, but just whatever they talked about. What I mainly want to talk about is Apex Legends, because that's like one of my main games. So I guess this is season 10. They introduce the new characters, which is Seer, finally getting a black male. Usually, yeah, they have a couple of black females, Hispanics, whatnot. But you know, been nice to finally, you know, get a brother. But this is where things take a turn, because now there's been controversy between his character design. Some people have made the joke that this is a Lil Nas X crossover with the game because of how he dressed. It seemed like he's a little flamboyant. At first, I didn't get that when I saw his reveal trailer, because they didn't really show his character. They just showed like he was like in a silhouette style, like art style. So you didn't know how he really looked. So when I looked at him, like, I got the Kung Lao vibe. If you guys know what Kung Lao looks like, then I guess you can get the gist. Like having I thought he had a vest, but now it's like a crop top with a vest. And he has like the brim hat. So that was like, I thought it was like Kung Lao. That'd been nice if it was like bladed as well. And then yeah, the showing his design, like the color scheme is very bright. Not so much bright, it's like blue and gold. Like his movements, like he moved with a lot of flavor. Which I mean, I don't personally mind, but I do notice that a lot of people are taking issues with the fact that it seems like, I guess they're kind of like pushing this LGBT stuff and like everything. The fact that if you do an account in Apex Legends, I believe, let me see if I could do a count. It's not confirmed for this character right now, so I'm not going to count him. But we got, so yeah, so there's like 17 characters, I believe, excluding 2 of the characters that leave us 15. Only 4 of them is like, for the most part, 100%. Like it seems like they are straight. One of them seems kind of sus. I guess you can count him as straight too, but it's like he have allowed some things to happen that makes it seem like he don't care about his sexuality. So it's whatever. But yeah, and then if we add this character as well, that'll just be another one who's not straight. But I mean, I personally don't like care about that. It's just that some people feel like it, no, because of, like I said, this is our first black male character, and we can't just get a normal straight male character. I guess what people just want, I don't know, it's just hard to please everyone, because then there's gonna be people who probably get a stereotypical black guy if he was to look like some just buff, crazy black guy. And so it's like, I like his design, I like his style. I don't personally really care much for the whole sexuality stuff. I granted, because these characters do have stories to them, so it gets backstories, and you have like a connection with your characters and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, this is just a shooting game. It's not like it really matters. But yeah, so if you really into the storyline, then I guess it matters. But if you're just playing the game, then it really don't matter. So it's whatever. But yeah, so But yeah, so that's about it. They also showed Battlefield 2042, I believe. I'm hyped for that because it just looks like Battlefield is, back to doing what it does best. My favorite Battlefield was 4, and like, I don't know, that was just fun. I started playing Battlefield on Bad Company 2. That was amazing, but I didn't really play the online that much. At the time, my internet connection was like terrible. It was like the first time I was getting into online gaming, so it was weird. But then I started on Battlefield 3. That was cool. I enjoyed it. It's just, I don't know, like how the game looked like. It looked like it was kind of dark for me. Like, I don't know, like the contrast just seemed too dark. But Battlefield 4 was right. Everything was just right about Battlefield 4. It was just pure fun. And then Hardline came. I played the beta. It was alright, but it wasn't enough to make me want to get the game. And then Battlefield 5 came out, or Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, I think, came out afterwards, and that was just a snooze fest. I got it because it was bundled with the Xbox I got, so it was whatever. And then Battlefield 5 came out, which I didn't even get. Period. After I played the beta, like, it just didn't feel right. So it was like, I don't know, Battlefield was just slowly, like, they kept on going back to the past and all of that, so just doing what everyone enjoyed the most. So it seemed like they finally back. They teased like this mode where it seems like you can like have total control of how the gameplay will work and the game style will work. So there's assets from like older battlefields that you can put in the game, so you can have like a futuristic army versus a World War II army, and the weapons and vehicles from certain timelines in that era in the game. So it seems dope. I'm excited for it. I just want it to be fun, like Battlefield 4. Like, don't make things too complicated. Just make it fun. And then at the end, I know a lot of people are excited for this. Me personally, I'm not 100% excited. Like, I'm not really into the franchise like that, but it's just nice to see like things that people really want to be like given to them. So it's a good feeling. But they tease Dead Space, a new one. I believe this would be the 4th one. So Dead Space fans are excited and happy now. I saw like the chat was just going crazy. So that was good. Like, overall, EA had a decent show. Cause strange, because EA is like terrible when it comes to like their business practices. Like, they're very scummy, but they do have a lot of good games, or a lot of good franchises and stuff that that you keep getting. FIFA is one of them. And yeah, they started off kind of weak, showing like racing games. I don't really care for that. I mean, I miss racing games, but it's more so like Midnight Club type games. Like, these games are like legit NASCAR type racing, like all serious and sports like. And so I don't really care for that. But then they finally kicked into high gear when they started showing Apex and whatnot. And shouts out to Xavier Woods, or Austin Creed from WWE, that was hosting it, and it was nice to see him host it, because like usually when you see like because it was another one of those what you call it, like a isolated area, or like a pre-recorded type thing, so it wasn't live audience. So it was nice, like when you see people usually like trying to show excitement or hype games up, and it just seemed like they just don't know how to hype it up. Like, they just seem so dead inside trying to be excited. And I know like this guy is like truly a real gamer, so like seeing his excitement level for it was just dope. So like, it just made you more amped for the games, because he's just excited just as us. So that was good. But yeah, so going into, I guess, my final topic, which I guess this is going to be a short episode. I don't know. I don't like referencing how long or short my episodes are going to be, because then they end up being longer than I think. So I'm just going to go with it. And yeah. So the reason why I'm doing this, like, I guess in a reverse style, is because what I'm going to talk about next is going to be spoilers. So there's going to be a spoiler warning for the show Loki. And yeah, I mean, mainly for Loki, but I am going to like talk about everything, like not everything, but I'm trying to go speculate into MCU and whatnot as well. But so if you guys have not seen Loki yet, I guess this will be the end of the podcast for you, I guess. I don't know. The reason why I didn't want to do this in the beginning is because I don't know how to properly like tell you people that skip to this point in time, and by the time I edit this down, the time is gonna be completely different. So I don't know if people like really gonna read the description to know what time to skip to if I would put it in there. So I don't know. So this is just gonna be a safer bet that I just put the spoiler part at the end, so you can just click off now. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast and whatnot, and you could come back here if you did watch Loki and hear what I had to say and whatnot. So yeah, going into Loki. So like I said before, usually I don't really do like reviews and spoiler stuff, but I kind of want to go into this one because it's just a lot to unpack, I guess, with this. So I feel like I can't talk about this show without spoiling it. Like, if I just talk about this show in general, like, Loki, it was cool, I like it, all right, that's it. Like, it just won't do the show justice, I guess. So going into Loki. So for most people who've seen Marvel Endgame, Avengers Endgame, we noticed that Loki ended up taking the Tesseract and teleporting away from being captured in that timeline, and people wonder what that was going to lead to. And then it led to him immediately getting taken prisoner again. But this time it's by the TVA, people who monitor Nexus events when things go wrong in the timeline. So they try to bring whatever it is that went wrong in the timeline, well, mostly it's a person. They take them away, and then they completely like just wipe out that timeline or reset it. It's not really 100% explained, but I think they completely just wipe out that timeline so it doesn't create another universe, because they're just trying to keep everything as one sacred timeline. That's what they call it, the sacred timeline. So they capture him immediately, and this is going into before even going into the show, when it was announced and whatnot, I personally just don't care about Loki. I never did. I know he's like a fan favorite and whatnot because of his story, but I think it's because of his story I don't care. It's like they try and like in every movie it's the same thing. It's like, I'm evil, have sympathy for me, I didn't mean to do it. And then he goes into the next movie and does some evil stuff again, and it's like, bro, like it gets tiring after a while. It's like, I don't know why people like that. So I mean, more so people, I guess people just like the actor, but his character is not good to me. I don't care about his character. And it's the same thing for the show. I rate this show a 7 out of 10, and that's mostly because of the story. It would be higher if Loki was not the character, because this is a great story. I just don't care for Loki, and I don't like how they made Loki turn into a title instead of just being a person, but I'm gonna go into that later. So I'm not gonna try to do episode by episode. I'm just gonna try to break down everything that's like important and whatnot. So of course, one of my things that I was gonna be probably skeptical about, which gladly they cleared it up in the first episode, would be since this is Loki at the end of Avengers, we already know that he kind of like redeems himself by the time Thor Ragnarok comes around, and it's like he's still gonna be his evil self in this one. So it's like all of that sympathizing we did for him in the later movies is gonna go out the window. But luckily they showed like a little time reel of like the things he went through, and then he saw how his life plays out if he would have just stayed there. So he saw what happens in Ragnarok and what happens in Infinity War when he dies, and even seeing that he was actually basically the indirect cause to his mother's death, because he thought he was leading the Dark Elves to Thor, but he led them right to his mother, and we know he was devastated by losing her in that movie. So he was able to, like, he got hit with all of that at once, like knowing that this was in store for me if I would have stayed. Like, my mother was gonna die, I was gonna lose my home and its people, I was gonna lose my father, I was gonna lose my life. Like, holy crap, like, what's the point of my life? It's like that became the theme, like, our Loki's just born to lose, and that's it. Like, they serve no other purpose but to lose. And it seemed like that's kind of the Nexus event. Like, they ever try to do something to better themselves, they end up getting snatched away. And yes, I said themselves because we eventually learned that there's been multiple times and multiple different variations of Lokis in this whole grand scheme of timelines and universes and whatnot. So the TVA guys is like, they want to give him a second chance type thing, like a way to redeem himself, do some good before they get rid of him. And apparently there's another, they call these people variants, the people who are breaking the timeline and whatnot. So he's like, yeah, there's a variant that's like specifically out here just hunting us down and killing our people, and the only thing that they know is that it's another Loki. So of course, no, what better way to catch a Loki than with another Loki? So at first Loki's like, no, he's against it, and then when he did try to help, he tried to like be slick and betrayed them still, but eventually it's story stuff. He eventually come around and trying his best to earn their trust and whatnot. And yeah, so we learned that the second Loki that's causing all the chaos and killing amongst the TVA is a Loki from another timeline. This one is a female Loki. She goes by the name of Sylvie, and we don't 100% really know what her Nexus event. Every time we was trying, she asked about it or whatever, she just kind of got like, oh, I don't remember or whatever. So we don't know why she got sent. So I mean, you don't want to speculate that, oh, just because she was born a woman, but as we learn later on, we learn about the other Lokis, that don't really matter. So, but yeah, so she was taken away as a child, and she managed to escape the TVA before her being judged. So basically she spent her entire life trying to escape from the TVA, because they can notice when someone is in a timeline they don't belong to. She eventually discovered a way to bypass that by hiding out during apocalypse events, because when things are going to end, you can't really make a change when it's destined to end regardless, unless the change you make is to save everyone. But if you just let everything be what it is, then you can go undetected, and that's what she's been doing the whole time. So Loki managed to find that out, and then came cross paths. They cross paths, trying to figure out what their plan is. Our Loki is trying to overthrow the I forgot their names, but the people who run the TVA and whatnot. And Sylvie just wants to kill them for doing what they did to her, and whatnot. So that was kind of the thing. So Loki thought that they were gonna be able to get together and whatnot. And yeah, the names is the timekeepers, the people who are quote unquote in charge. And I say quote unquote because of what happens later on. I'll get into that. Like I said, bear with me, man. I never really do like spoilers and whatnot and stuff, so I'm trying to like break this down best I can. So yeah, so their goals don't 100% align, but they kind of do. But yeah, that's their thing. They just trying to figure out who's behind this and put a stop to it. Loki is trying to just overthrow them so he can have their power to control time and whatnot. She just wants to get rid of them for what she did to her. Eventually they end up getting put together, and they end up forming a little bond together, and it's kind of weird because like it ends up turning into a romance, and I'm like, this man is basically falling in love with himself. It's just a female version of himself. I'm like, oh my god. This is why I just don't get, like, it's all this sympathy stuff is like, oh, Loki's finally, and like, when he's no longer in a timeline, he basically, his existence basically like is wiped away, and he's finally finding happiness. He finally found a friend, and he's finding someone he cares for, and like, it's just like, I don't care, bro. I just don't care. So whatever. Yeah, so turns out that whatever it is that these two have together causes a strong nexus event, like something that can like really turn things upside down, and they're trying to figure out what that was. So in the event of trying to do that, they finally confront the so-called timekeepers, only to find out that they are nothing but just androids, which I guess that's another Marvel little twist of the people that we know in the comics aren't truly who they're gonna be in the MCU. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if people care about that or not, but yeah. So they get sent, well, Loki gets quote unquote pruned, which we thought is like people getting wiped from existence and killed, but turns out they just getting sent to I guess like the dump. Like it's just a wasteland where everything that they wipe away is just put into one space, like from different universes and timeline. It all just one space. So that's where I say Loki ends up finding a bunch of other Lokis. He ends up finding a kid Loki, which his nexus event was that he killed Thor, which obviously in the timeline you're not supposed to do that. Thor, you gotta become old and be an Avenger. So and there's a freaking alligator Loki. And this one Loki, he's classic Loki, and I like that Marvel does one of those, like they kind of like answer or debunk these movie theories. I remember seeing a bunch of Loki actually survived Infinity War, and he's gonna be the key to Endgame, he created a clone of himself or whatever, and he escaped. So they played with that. That's why Golden Loki. I'm a Golden Loki. Well, he just like you, Golden, but classic Loki. That was his Nexus event. During the Infinity War. Well, yeah, the Infinity War opening, when he dies by Thanos, he cast a illusion of himself that was like so good and so real that even Thanos thought that it was him. So when he thought he died, he was actually hiding. And then finally he just found himself on a isolated planet and just lived out most of his years. He grew old, but then he was like wondering if people if Thor misses him or whatnot, what will happen if I just pop back in? And right the moment he decided, just thinking about it, the moment he decides to think about it, he got arrested. So he's not allowed. So basically, it was cool for him to be there because it was the equivalent of him no longer being a part of the timeline because everyone considered him dead already. So the moment when he decided that he was going to just push himself back into existence, no, you're not supposed to exist. So that's how that works. So yeah, they finally figure out how they're gonna get to the bottom of this. Dealing with the creature called Alioth. This creature is basically known to destroy space and time and whatnot, but it's also hiding where the person who's really in charge is. So Loki and Sylvie managed to enchant it to find this place, and they go there. And they're finally greeted by the person who is in charge of doing all of this, and the reason why they've been living the life they've been living and why they don't have free will and whatnot. And this person is dubbed He Who Remains, who he is a person in the comics, but this is not who he really is in the MCU, because it's been revealed that the guy who plays He Who Remains, Jonathan Majors, has been cast to be King the Conqueror, which it seems like he is going to be our new Thanos, big bad guy. So yeah, so oh my god, before I even go into all of this, Jonathan Majors' performance as this guy was amazing. I don't know, like Thanos was cool. In Infinity War, he was saying a lot of slick and deep stuff, but I didn't really care for him overall like that. This dude was just cool. This one of the times was I like this villain. Well, quote unquote villain. But I like this dude. I don't mind him being a villain if he stays like this. But it might change, obviously, because of what happens later on. So yeah, so he breaks down pretty much everything that happened and why we are in the lifestyle we are in now, being in a place where free will don't exist. So this guy was we never really get a true name, so it's just He Who Remains or whatever, if you want to call him King, sure. So this guy is just he's from the 31st century originally, from Earth, a normal human being. He was a scientist, smart, and he ends up discovering that this universe is stacked on top of each other, and managed to make contact with the other universes of himself. from there, they started building together. It was peace and harmony. Everything was great. They were making good progress until, not every single one of you is going to be the same. And then you find out there's going to be ones that want to be greedy and want to conquer other universes, hence his name. So it turns into an entire multi-universal war, and this guy managed to, through all of these tears in the universes, the creature alive was made, being able to consume space and time itself. He weaponized alive and ended the multi-universal war, and hence he who remains, because now it's just him. So he shut down all of the other timelines, all the universes, all of that, and made one sacred timeline. And he made it his duty that to prevent any other multi-universal wars from happening, he has to keep everything in check and make sure everyone follow the path that they are meant to follow. Hence, no one has free will. And obviously that's Loki's big issue, that he don't believe that, things happen just because he say so. Like, he wants to feel like he's in charge of his own destiny. And Sylvie is just so mad that it's like, bro, like, you took me as a kid, and he's just like grow up, like, this is bigger than you, like, shut up. Like, it's just amazing. Cause it's like, cause he didn't explain it like how Thanos explained why when he was like, oh, I propose to my people that we should know a solution, and Dr. Strange's like, genocide, bro. He was like, yeah. So it's like, it sounded weird, but at the same time, like, you get it, but it's still like this dude is like, you understand, like, infinite amount of universes, infinite amount of hymns, and not all of them are good as him, and he's putting that on hold. And it's like, you're complaining about this one point in your life, and it's like, you don't understand how worse things are gonna get if you remove him out the picture. So basically he leads them with a two choice, good or bad type situation. Bad choice is Sylvie basically gets what she wants, which is, you can kill him and end his, I guess, quote unquote, reign over the timeline, thus opening all the multi-universe and all its infinite possibilities and all of his other selves. And it's going to create another universal war, and he's going to end up doing what he did again, and we're going to be right back into the situation again. There's just going to be one big time loop of him constantly having to be he who remains, and these two are going to keep showing up to him and doing the same thing over and over again. Or he's just suggested that Loki and Sylvie just take over for him and run it for him. This way Loki gets the power that he wants. They can make, I don't know if they can make whatever timeline they can make, but they're gonna be the ones who are gonna have to keep things in check. And it's like, all the evil killing and murdering and stuff that y'all have done for, just the pure badness of your heart, now you get to do it because it matters, because you're saving the timeline. Loki, of course, was like, maybe he's telling the truth. Sylvie, on the other hand, like, I don't care, let's kill him. And yeah, basically Sylvie ends up sending Loki away and then killing he who remains. And now we are officially in the multi-universe. yeah, I think this is technically kicks off phase 4 now. This show, yeah, I think this show legitly kicks off phase 4. I know, of course, there was WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier beforehand, but I feel like more so Falcon and Winter Soldier was more so preludes just to build up how things are going to be in terms of like the Avengers and whatnot going forward. So that was just more like a prequel and whatnot. So yeah, the theory about with WandaVision is her post-credit scene actually happens the same time Sylvie kills Kang. So the moment that she does that and the multiverse expands, that's when she was able to hear her kids, because now the multiverse is open. So this is now opening to Loki, Wanda, and my boy Doctor Strange, which his movie is going to be Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, a lot of people were surprised about Kang's appearance in this show, because everyone believed that he was supposed to actually make his appearance in the Ant-Man film. So the fact that he just jumped up so early was like, oh. But I think I get it. Like, you know, you gotta like plant the seeds of why things are gonna be going crazy. So yeah, this is one of the cases of like, yeah, he was doing something that sounds terrible, it seems terrible, you know, taking free will away from people for the sake of the universe. But it was also one of the cases of, it seems like he was the good one that did it, because he was like, you know, you think I'm bad, like wait till you meet my other variants. They know they on some next level stuff. So it's one of those like, yeah, you just remove the one devil and I was like the most cool devil, but now you're going to deal with an infinite amount of devils who can be very unpredictable. And yeah, it's really going to be crazy going into this one. And this is where it's going to lead to I know we got Shang-Chi, I believe he's supposed to be pronounced Shang-Chi, but you know, I don't know. And we got the Eternals that's coming out. These two movies I am concerned about. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna watch Eternals, if I'm being honest. I might watch Shang-Chi only because I just, you know, I love martial arts. That's, you know, I just love watching martial arts. I don't care for Eternals. But if I end up watching it, these two movies I'm concerned about if they pick up after Loki. It's because I don't want movies that's gonna be before this, and then it's the post-credit scene is going to be the only scene that technically matters. It's like watching Ant-Man and the Wasp after Infinity War came out, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and it's like this whole movie don't matter. It's just the end credit scene that matters, type thing. It's like, I need to know how to properly like structure this, like timeline stuff. Like, I don't care about stuff that happened beforehand unless it's an origin story like Captain Marvel type thing where it was set in the past and it makes sense of like where she been the whole time. And I guess that's gonna be the same thing of like the Eternals, like where you guys been during Thanos, blah blah blah, and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's no time for prequels no more. Like, they're just flushing out this whole Marvel franchise to tell this story. It's like, just tell the story, man. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm not 100% familiar with King the Conqueror, so I have to search him up and whatnot. Apparently, the thing with this man is that he just technically can't die because he's just constantly coming back in different universes and whatnot. Like, if you try to kill him, he's just gonna keep coming right back. Like, he's just that dope. No, I have not seen anything about his physical feats. They just say like, oh, this dude is just gonna be worse than Thanos because he can't come back. Compared to Thanos, like, Thanos just wants to conquer, he wants to just put his universe in check. This dude just going into different universes trying to conquer them all, and it just never made it seem like. But I didn't hear like what powers he has or whatnot, like what physically makes him scary. So I don't know what he can actually do aside from what he did in the show, which was just teleport or just manipulated time and moved forward ahead of time, whatever. But so I'm curious to see what it is he can physically actually do that's going to make him a threat, if he is going to be our next Thanos level character. So there's that. And this, honestly, all of this is just getting me hyped for Doctor Strange, man. Like, Doctor Strange legit is like my favorite in the MCU right now. It sucks because like in Marvel overall, Hulk was always my favorite, but MCU just did him dirty. I slowly started liking Ant-Man after his movie. Like, I like his suit and whatnot and his abilities. But then just Doctor Strange, like, I'm just like, especially in the time of my life, like, I'm all into that awakening and stuff, and like that self-awareness and self growth and whatnot, and like opening your mind to possibilities and things and all of that. Like, it's just amazing. And just like, because it's like he only had that one movie, and then he's just like, all right, that's all I get for free. And then he was just a complete like side dude in the Avenger movies, and it sucks because it's like this man is probably OP as hell. Because not only it's the thing about this man, I was watching a video about like him being most likely being the most seasoned Avenger in combat, like probably even in the whole like universe, gone from like Asgardians, their lifespans goes up to about 5,000 years, and this man saw he saw the 14 million possibilities. Of course, to us it looked like he was just there for 5 seconds, but he sat there and had to go through the rest of Infinity War and Endgame 14 million times, which was approaching about 5,000 years if we going into how long he was doing that. He was sitting there fighting, like he had to actually sit there and live that for like 5,000 years. Like, the man was like, I don't know, man. I feel like he's one of those characters that you have to nerf him, which sucks because like he could just be like OP as hell. But speaking of nerfing, Loki, it was another thing I disliked. I feel like they nerfed him badly too, because it's like going from, well, he's a frost giant, but being the Asgardian god and whatnot, and then even like just simple things that was not present in the show, like when he confronted Tony in his house, and he's just like straight up just picked Tony up by his face and just chucked him out the window, like having that super strength. And then in the whole show, this man is struggling fighting regular security guards. I'm like, bro, like why? Like, they just humanized this man so much. Like, first we had to keep feeling sorry for him, and then they just made him more human and more human and more human. And it's like, It's like, we get it. I mean, he's just a normal dude now at this point. Like I said, but he's just a normal dude who can do magic at this point. Like it don't matter him being Loki, it don't matter him being the god of mischief or whatnot. He's just a dude that can do magic at this point. And like it's just, and yeah, I don't know, man. I don't care about Loki. And then granted, he got greenlit for season 2, which I think this is so far the only one of the shows that's actually a season. The other ones were just like, that was it. That was the series and that was it. So they probably just gonna appear in movies now. But yeah, so this one's gonna be interesting because like I said, depending on how the movies go and this show, like how far they're gonna go by the time we get to the second season of this show, and then how much from the movie is gonna count into this show and whatnot. So it's a lot I don't know, dealing with time and all of this stuff. It's like that's why I don't care about Marvel no more. Like I miss the days where no, the villains was just basically a badder, evil version of the main dude, you know, Ironmonger, Abomination, Red Skull, Loki. Like it was just simple. But now it's like gods and mad titans from another planet, and now we got people coming in from another universe and multiverse, and oh my lord. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm just hyped about this shit. That's all I care about. So yeah, man. I think that's about it. But yeah, like I said, I give Loki 7 out of 10. It's like the story is great. The story is great. The characters are like, all the other characters and stuff is amazing. I mean, you know, Tom Hiddleston performance is great. It's just Loki himself, I just don't care about the character Loki. But I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, man. That's about it. I think that's all I gotta say. I would do a question another day, but I don't know. I guess, I mean, what is it you guys are expecting for the Marvel timeline? Is Kang gonna be a big bad guy? How are we gonna stop him? How are we gonna stop the multi-universe war? And yeah, like, where you guys see the MCU going from here on out? But other than that, yeah, it's been another episode of Lights and Thoughts Podcast, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, share this, like, rate, all of that good stuff. I believe you can leave a review on my podcast on Amazon or Audible, or one of them. So yeah, whatever ways you can get this out there. Yeah, so till next time, have a good day, have a good week, and yeah, peace.